So this week was our final week, week 7, and the one reading that we had was Bowman chapter 10, and I think it was a very nice wrap-up chapter. It talked about what to do after you knocked out that first show. Um, just, finishing things on a high note, maybe not rushing to try to throw up another show right away, giving things some time to settle down for your students who've worked so hard, maybe letting them have an opportunity to go and try other things, which I think is brilliant. As someone who has worked at the high school as a spoken word club coach, we oftentimes would encourage our kids in between the two showcases to go try sports, go try a different club, take some time to rest and focus on schoolwork, just, really try to get the full-on experience of high school. And I think that it's also a brilliant thing to see that in this chapter, so that, theater isn't dominating so much of, the student's life, especially for junior high school students. Bowman did say that for high school students, it might be a little bit different. They might want to go into another show right away, and that's fine as they prepare for what it'll be like to be in college and be doing theater, or looking to the professional world, what it's like to always be doing theater. And I thought that was brilliant. I also like the little note about, if that first show was comedy, maybe you go tragedy. If that first musical was, a classic musical from the 20th century, maybe you look for something that's a little more contemporary for the second show, to kind of, look to, not only spice things up, but to also test, your own capabilities, and see what the student body is capable of, and maybe get somebody different, some new talent coming in, for that show that's different from the first one, possibly. That was Bowman. And then the other thing that we did this week, well, the two major things that we did this week were our production notebook, or our production book, and we made it into a PDF, and that was a lot of work, putting together files into a PDF, where you needed a rehearsal calendar, you needed a production sheet, you needed a cue sheet, you needed to have a few other things on there, and you needed to have a chunk of the script. I chose a play called Coconuts by Andrew Del Vecchio. It's a relatively new play that was produced in New York City a few years back, in a festival. I thought it was a funny play. It's a great two-man show. It's really short, and I think that it would fit really well in like a high school setting, or like a community college setting, or even like a black box theater for like a college where, they have their black box series that maybe isn't like the main show, or the main stage type of show. So I chose that because I remember it being just a hilarious show. And so that was the production book. And then we also had to do a literary review, where we had to find 20 sources that kind of talked about theater pedagogy, or just like the process of producing plays for school-age students, or about our production. So mine was mostly about pedagogical things. A lot of what I do with theater is civic engagement. So a lot of my articles focused on civic engagement types of things, and how theater is used to help with civic engagement, and things like theater of the oppressed, and that type of thing. So again, it was a very, very, very big week, filled with massive projects, to wrap up, and then Bowman's chapter 10 to wrap up was also a perfect way to finish the semester. So there you have it.